Over to Matt Gunnup. Maybe, no. Matt Gunnup, SEIU 580. Is John Lucas here as well? Okay. We're moving right along. Thank you very much, folks, for obliging us with the time. We know you've been here a long time, but we do appreciate it. Is John's joining you, Matt?
What's that?
Is John Lucas?
Yes, he is. He's coming in.
Okay. If you want to begin, Matt, you can, and John will join you when he gets there.
Thank you.
There's John.
Hey, John. Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Matthew Gunnup. I'm President of SEIU Local 580. We represent workers at DHS. I'm here to express urgent concern about the ongoing shortage of social caseworkers within DHS. This is not just a workforce issue. This is a crisis. Just about 10 years ago, there were about 125 budgeted FTEs for social caseworkers versus under 40 today. Our members are being forced to choose between finding a nursing home bed and helping a disabled man living in a tent in the woods. That's a real case example. These cases are it's not hyperbole. These cases are happening frequently. There are impossible choices our members are being forced to make. We're picking winners and losers among the most vulnerable. People who have lost almost everything in certain circumstances. Caseworkers are managing unmanageable caseloads. The promise of person-centered care has been replaced with crisis triage. Staff are burning out, turnover is high, and the people we serve, the children, the elderly, the disabled, are suffering because we simply don't have enough hands to help and do the work. The committee has the power to change that, but only with the support of DHS. It's frustrating that there's a bill before the committee by Senator Brito to recruit frontline workers to come to DHS to support recruitment and retention, where DHS can do that right now. Office of Management Budget can do that right now. EUHHS can do that now. The governor's office can do that right now. We need urgency to take action. Our members are sick and tired of getting caught between different branches of bureaucracy, and there's always a wizard behind the curtain who's never at the table who says no to something. We came to the table over 2 years ago to a modest pay grade increase for a social caseworker, changing the job language to reflect conflict-free case management, which is federally mandated, to give more responsibility. They changed the work, they gave them more responsibility, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't give the modest pay grade they agreed to. Why? Because DOA said no. That was 19 months ago. They've had 19 months, the state, whatever branch of government you want to blame, had 19 months to get that train back on the track. It wasn't until our members voiced concerns about these director salaries being prioritized over frontline workers' agreements that our workers deserve funding for their positions to address recruitment and retention issues. So our members should not be less of a priority than the top. They're doing the frontline work in all these issues that you hear, that you're going to hear from John Lucas about the real cases that we deal with day in, day out. There's a solution. We need immediate investment in the caseworker workforce to prevent further harm and uphold the mission of DHS. And that's to serve and protect those who cannot advocate for themselves. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak tonight.
Matt, thank you very much for being very concise. Much appreciated. Question for Matt? Matt, I have one with regards to, I read the article. Is there still the issue tied to the ERP? Because of that, the reason that's being given is that the ERP and job classification being defined correctly and setting salaries or benefits or wages to the job classification?
So that wasn't specifically to some of the examples I gave, but that there's similar frontline workers through multiple unions that had that issue where it was, okay, we had these formalized agreements, we're just waiting to go to public hearing because of this computer system, and then out of nowhere, they can do a public hearing without fixing the computer system for directors, and we feel that's just wrong.
When is the last meeting you've had with the agency, the administration?
Within the last week or two, and we have another one scheduled next week or the week after. It's just the frustrating part is the urgency shouldn't be because our workers are, stomping our, hands on the table. There should be urgency without that.
Maybe we can follow up in the next couple of weeks to let us know what's happening there to figure out how can we be helpful.
I appreciate that, Chairman, because I appreciate the questions and the thoughtfulness regarding the FTEs, because there's so many vacancies. We're facing a budget crisis, and the reality is that those are not filled. If we don't take urgent action, then those vacancies are going to probably be taken away, and the crisis we're talking about, you'll hear from members, will just get even worse.
One other, I have a question, or really a request for you. So the DHS had to hire 175 people. More than that, but 175 people have been replaced, given the numbers. Over about 20-something percent new folks. I'd ask you, maybe not tonight, but if you can, well, the director's here, but not here. If you have insight with regards to 175 people is a lot of people. Any organization turning over those kinds of numbers of people would be an organization out of business. So it's concerning. Whatever insight you can share with the director as it relates to what do we need to do to retain, and so we're not hiring 175 people, so the people that we would have had to hire can be hired for the spots that we want to raise, because you can only do so many over a period of time. I think it'd be very beneficial for all that if you can share that with the director of what you've heard from members of why they left. Okay?
Thank you, Director, and I look forward to coordinating with my sister Stacy Smith from ASME and bringing in other stakeholders to have a comprehensive solution.
And when he comes up to testify, I'll mention it to him. He's sitting right behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, welcome to Senate Finance. If you can keep your testimony to 3 minutes or less, we'd appreciate it. Over to you.
Or the homemaker CNA companies. There's a lot of old people in Rhode Island. It's getting older and older. And, a couple generations ago, families stopped going from like 8 or 9 kids. Now there's like very few kids. And the families letting grandma live with them unless they're getting paid for them. We got a lot of people that just can't fill out the applications themselves. We used to have caseloads where we took the case from the beginning and to the finished product. Now there's like all kinds of different jobs. An application comes in. It takes 3 months before the OTSS people can actually start working on it. You got providers calling all the time, like I said, either nursing home, assisted living, or the homemaker agency calling because the computer system has knocked off the eligibility and they can't get paid. So as a result, you got cases like a woman's bedridden. She's got an autistic son. She needs help to get, homemaker services for herself. She doesn't even know how to fill out the application. She's getting evicted. All right, so we got to beg the management not to evict them until we get the 4 or 5 months to get the in-home service in there. You got a lot of the medical equipment problems. They don't know how to get it. You got to get doctor's notes so that Medicare can start working on their authorization of 80%. The medical assistants can grab the other 20%, but they don't know how to negotiate that whole process, and they also trying to get doctors who aren't getting paid to fill out unless you're there for the physical. They're not doing this extra stuff. So you got all this stuff going on. Biggest problem is also the providers aren't getting paid because the computer system, which we're stuck with, declares the eligibility. And so the recertification didn't come in or whatever. So homemaker company or the nursing home calls the people on the phone, hey, how can you fix this? So if you've been there a long time, like I have, I usually know how to fix some things. But if they transition from a nursing home to the in-home service back and forth, you got to make arrangements in that. You got to change things in the computer so that the computer knows exactly where it is, so that the eligibility is okay and the person gets approved. And anyway, so like I said, we got a lot of people that need that medical assistance to either get the service or their medical, because that's the only way they get medical is through the LTSS. And if they don't get that, then they're waiting. The biggest problem is it usually takes about 5 months to get service. Even when we had caseloads and there wasn't bridges, we could get the emergencies in a week. But those days are gone. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
John, thank you very much. Questions or comments for John?
Yeah.
John, thank you. Next up, we'll have Brianna Gagnon, SEIU, and Kenya Fallon, SEIU. And then we have one last person for the DHS budget proper, Linda McBride, and we'll bring up Jessica's already been here, Divya Nar. Brianna?
So my name is Kenya Fullen. I work for LTSS. I'm a social case worker for DHS, and I came aboard in June of this year. So when I came aboard, my first participant 80-something years old, had Parkinson's, and she was only getting like $1,500 a month, and her landlord went up on her rent $600. So she was paying $1,200 with nothing included. So we was trained that once we go in and do the assessment, we find out the things that they need. So what I did was, she said she didn't know how long she was able to pay her rent. So then I went to Sisters of the Poor, spoke to them, and they had an 8-year waiting list, but because I explained her situation, she will last one day homelessness. I got her in. Sisters of the Poor helped to do her application, kept meeting with them, and also I gave her the services that she needed because she has Parkinson's. So I have a CNA to come to her house to help her out to make sure she's safe. So she will be moving in there May 1st. So LTSS, we do a lot because we're dealing with elderly, and not elderly, but disabled that we're getting in that homeless or going to become homeless. So not only are we providing services for their medical, but we're also providing services so they won't be homeless and die out in the streets. And we're also modeling the governor's 2030. The governor's 2030 is that he wants all Rhode Islanders with medical, safe, and homelessness ended. So by not providing LTSS with the caseworkers that we need, we're not following the governor's 2030 mission.
Ken, thank you very much. Questions for Ken? Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Next up we have, is it Brianna? Brianna Gagnon?
Yes.
Gagnon?
Gagnon.
Thank you. Just make sure the button's up.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. My name is Brianna Gagnon. I work as a social caseworker with the ESS unit with DHS. I'm here representing myself as a local 580 union member, but also as a single mother who had once been through a few of the DHS services. Currently working with the disabled and homeless population on a daily basis, we are constantly being forced to prioritize our work in each client's situation. With high expectations, a mountain of cases, and not enough hours in the day, we are constantly asking ourselves, did we do enough to even assist that client? Could we have done more? Even though it feels like a million years ago, I remember like it was just yesterday having to walk into the DHS office in Woonsocket. It was an embarrassing moment for me, but I was able to have a face-to-face conversation with someone who took the time to understand my situation, see what programs would best fit me and my situation, and help advise on things that DHS did not offer at the time. Just 2 days ago, I spoke to a client over the phone. At the end of the conversation, he thanked me for taking the time to call and listen to his concerns. There are too many automated lines, hold services, and redirects in today's day and age with the new technology. He just wants to know that someone cares. I showed up tonight for him. This elderly and disabled gentleman does not need more cuts in the system. He just wants to feel like a person rather than a number. This is one of the dozen of situations DHS provides assistance for, showing up when it matters. We are making a difference by taking an extra minute with Rhode Islanders with help to go above and beyond. Thank you for providing me the time to speak tonight, and I hope that together we can show Rhode Islanders the support that they matter and we do care.
Brianna, thank you very much. Questions or comments for Brianna? And Brianna, I'm sure that that gentleman you talked to is glad you gave him, at the end of the day, gave him hope that something's going to happen for him. So thank you for being here tonight for him.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Linda McBride. And also, not speaking, Jocelyn Antonio. Let me go to the next one. Did Jessica come up? We already had Jessica. Okay, we're moving along. Divya. I'm just going in order. So the Linda, welcome. Welcome to Senate Finance.
Good evening. My name is Linda McBride, and I'm a casework supervisor at DHS and a member of SEIU Local 580. Last week, I testified on the House side regarding the budget deficit and asked members of the committee not to approve job cuts at DHS and DCYF. Tonight, I ask the same, but I'm also going a step further by explaining why more resources are needed. My agency is very reactionary. When a problem crops up, they pull existing resources to target the problem, which sometimes works well for the problem, but it can also create negative consequences in the space they have taken the resources from. For example, there was a proposal to reorganize workers on my team, the Economic Support Services Unit, and send most of us to LTSS to address a shortfall there. While the work at LTSS is crucial to our elderly population, so is the work done by the ESSU team. Both these teams have the most vulnerable of the vulnerable clients. The elderly, disabled, disadvantaged, often homeless, often suffering mental health issues, in addition to physical disabilities with specific needs. And despite what people said when I first arrived at DHS, don't worry about making a mistake. Nobody will die. They do. A client died waiting to get approved for our GPA Bridge program. While we were waiting for a system update to separate our cash programs so that the GPA applicants were not appearing as RIW applicants in our worker inbox, and being denied for not having minor children in the home, this applicant had applied several times and kept getting denied before a community social worker stepped in and emailed his application directly to me. This man was homeless and had multiple disabilities. We quickly began processing his application, but sadly, he died before we could gather the necessary documents and confirm his pending SSI status. As vulnerable as ESSU clients are, LTSS faces a similar battle, not having the staffing they need to adequately get the critical services in place more quickly. I saw this firsthand when my father died and my mother was experiencing the ravages of Alzheimer's disease. I was trying to get some home care services in place when she started wandering. After the first episode, I realized I didn't have the time to wait for a home care provider who was a good fit for my mom. She needed to be placed in nursing home care. After the third episode of wandering, I had to ask the police who found her to bring her to the hospital for a wellness check, and my sister and I took weeks out of work, alternating walking hospital corridors with our very frightened and confused mother and calling nursing homes trying to find a bed for her. LTSS is extremely backed up trying to find the critical care and services needed for our clients also. And the solution is not taking ESSU staff and placing them in LTSS at the expense of ESSU clients. The answer is to give us more badly needed resources, not less. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments for witness? Thank you very much. Your name?
Marilyn Acevedo.
Marilyn, welcome to Senate Finance.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of my friends and coworkers at DHS. My name is Marilyn Alba Acevedo. I am a casework supervisor for DHS long-term care services and support. We serve some of the most vulnerable people in Rhode Island, the elderly, the disabled. We try to set these people in places that are ideal for them and where they can feel comfortable and safe. I am here tonight representing not only me and my peers, but the thousands of clients that use our services that are struggling because of the shortage of caseworkers in our department. We currently have over 300 clients waiting for home visits for assessments. If these clients don't get these assessments, they don't get services at home. These assessments take time. We need to go in person to each of their homes to do the assessment to see what the client really needs and what the medical needs are. And also, we need to check for their safety. We also work with clients who are waiting for placements in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Every day, we give the most of us. We do our best. We do our best to work efficiently, fast, but our clients are not numbers. Our human beings that are waiting for help. Our caseworkers are overloaded. I, as a supervisor, I'm overloaded too. We're underpaid, and every day we're asked to do more and more. Our department experiences high turnaround of workers because they tend to go to other agencies where they can get paid better and they do less than us. And I'm here today to ask you to please take into consideration when you are thinking the budget and doing their numbers, the employees that we need. To finish today, I am also here representing my mother and father who are elderly, who uses the services that we provide. My sister who at the age of 19, because getting sick, she got disabled. She cannot work anymore, and now she needs services at home. And finally my daughter who's 14, who's special needs, and who also needs these services. I'm thinking about all my clients, and I'm thinking about my family too. Thank you very much for your time.
Marilyn, thank you very much for being here and telling the story. Much appreciated. Thank you. And